It was just such a great afternoon.
Wow.
I mean, my brother and I, collectively, we said that's probably one of the best hunting memories of our whole life. So,
yeah.
And just to see our kids have success like that, and just the camaraderie, and it's nothing better than that.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Harmon, and this is Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching in and listening in, and it's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, wrapped around the poker table today is Mr. Don King and Mr. Bryan White.
Yes.
So y'all have seen Bryan. He's been on the show multiple times, and we're glad to have him back. And this is going to be a fun conversation around music and the outdoors today. I believe that's what we'll cover. So,
speaking of music,
yeah.
Jason, a shout out to one of our radio affiliates in Tullahoma, and I know they've probably played Bryan's music a lot over the years. Anyway, Whiskey Country 95.9, 105.1 right there in Tullahoma. We appreciate them very much for carrying WildCast.
Yeah, that's great. We got a lot of great radio partners out there running the show, and we appreciate them so much. I like that one. That's cool. Whiskey Country.
Yeah, right. Got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I wish I could tune a lot of these in and not, I wish the antenna would reach that far where I could listen to these stations sometimes. But anyway, when we're down that way, we'll tune them in.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, I'm excited today. We're going to talk a little bit about what Bryan's got going on as far as touring and music, and
I'm just glad we can get him to come in the studio with all the tour dates and stuff we've seen on the website. Man, he's a busy guy.
Yeah, we talk quite often, and I'm gonna be out of town for a few days or a few weeks, and it's like we can never really connect when we want to. But I'm glad you can make it in today.
It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to happen.
Exactly. Well, Bryan, I guess let's reflect on the summer tour. You were out singing and playing with a couple other guys this year. How'd that go?
Yeah, well, I mean, most musicians will tell you this. It's been really good to have opportunity again and to be out there doing what we love doing so much. And man, we take so many things for granted, and this has been the one thing I've tried to be. I've tried to just constantly say thank you and be in a state of thankfulness, because when you watch all that stuff go away, it sort of brings everything into perspective. But that tour was a blessing in so many ways. I got a call from Tommy Lemon, who's the promoter of the Country Rewind tour, and he threw the concept at me and said, Wade is very interested, Wade Hayes, and said, what do you guys think about Daryl Worley? And we just immediately turned cartwheels,
Yeah, really.
I love Daryl. He's I feel like he's a brother. I don't know if he would say that about me, but I feel like he's just a good soul and kindred spirits. And so it all worked out, and we did, I don't know the exact number, but we did upwards toward 20 plus dates this year, starting in the wintertime, going through the spring, and then into the early part of the summer. And it was just awesome. The chemistry was great. You had this array of hits from styles that sort of, crossed the, everywhere. I mean, it just went across the board. And, just the camaraderie on stage. It was about a sometimes 2.5 hour show. And I think fans really loved it, and we loved it. We loved just being out and being somewhere different all the time. And one of our biggest shows that we did was I don't want to say it was a sellout because I don't want to be inaccurate, but it was pretty darn close to a sellout. It was a big, huge venue called Cotton Eye Joe's. In Knoxville, and that place was like wall to wall. It was so weird. Be in a place that was that full at that time. We were like, we didn't know how to act, But it was a great show, and we literally went everywhere from Florida to Tennessee to Indiana to Kentucky. I mean, it was a blast. We had a great time.
And I guess there was a time in there where Andy Griggs stepped in too for a few shows.
Yeah,
right?
Wade had some conflicts in his schedule, and so naturally we had to call Andy, because I feel the same way about Andy. He's a brother, longtime friend, great singer.
Oh yeah,
and it just worked. It wasn't even it was so easy. He just slid right in there, and it was like it was like he was supposed to be there. You know?
Yeah.
So
Well, I know Daryl is a big hunter, but I'm sure all the guys, y'all had plenty to talk about the outdoors and whatnot, hanging out. All those guys hunt and fish and get outside, don't they?
yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that's probably most of what all the conversations really were. Was hunting or land or food plots or you name it. And those guys are so much more experienced than I am. They've been hunting their whole lives. I haven't been hunting my whole life. I've been fishing my whole life, but kind of late to the game in hunting. But I just feel like I'm always going to school when I'm around them.
Right.
I kind of just sit back and listen, and but there's always something to learn from those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet it was fun. I hate I didn't get to see some of that tour. It would have been a fun show to check out.
Well, I don't want to speak too soon because you say one thing and then something doesn't happen. But I do know that there are rumblings that of a kind of another go at it in the new year. So I'm hoping it comes together. So
That'll be good. And
Stay tuned.
You hit on something there too. Back when I was doing music full time, one of the prerequisites of selecting a band member was somebody you could get along with pretty much 24/7.
You're right, Don. Yeah.
And they had to be good musicians, of course, in the beginning. But there's a lot of people that you just wouldn't want to be around that much.
Well, Don, I this buddy of mine who's a bass player, he played for Jeremy Camp for many years. One of my best friends, big time tactical shooter guy, gun guy. He and I always talk about, I'd rather hire a mediocre to good player that I love being around and get along with than the greatest player in the world
who's a jerk,
who's a complete jerk that you don't want to be around. So you're so right, man.
Yeah.
It's so important. Chemistry.
And that's a good thing about Nashville too. The musicianship level is so high, it's so competitive that the ones that can't get along with folks don't usually stick around here as long as
I've got 3 or 4 of them floating up here in a bubble. I'm going to let them stay remain anonymous.
That's great. Well, I saw you were out this past it's been a few weeks now, I guess, but out with your son during the juvenile hunt, youth hunt, and had some success. Talk about that hunt.
Yeah, I will. My brother and I love the outdoors, always have. And we just kind of put a plan. You know how plans seems to sort of fall together, like just sometimes just within a 6 to 12 hour period. It's like, hey man, what are you doing tomorrow morning?
Last minute.
Yeah,
those are the best ones.
And so my brother and I put a little plan together, and we knew the weather was just going to be not great,
A little wet.
And we knew last Sunday looked really good, but we just couldn't make Sunday work. And so we got together and hunted in Marshall County Saturday morning. Rain was off and on pretty bad, so we decided to hunt out of a hay barn, which was perfect, but we did not see any deer sitting in that barn. But we never got wet, and we were able to kind of talk. We had a little mesh up, and I just got this Montana decoy. I love those Montana decoys. They're just like this one-dimensional with little sticks, and you poke them in the ground out there. And so it was fun to just go set that out and kind of see how it looks in the field. And we talked, and we got tickled about how my brother said the decoy looked retarded, and so he kept making fun of my deer decoy. And so we sat there for a while. About 9:30, we all kind of looked at. Jackson was asleep on the ground. We made him a pallet. My kids always fall asleep when I go hunting, but I always let them get an hour under their belt because they're a lot more tolerable. They're not cranky.
Yep.
So we decided to peel out of there about 9:30, and we just literally all of us were on foot walking, and all of a sudden we started seeing deer. And so my nephew Nolan was able to harvest his first deer ever, so he shot a doe.
Oh man, that's great.
And so we went to get his doe with the truck, and I was field dressing it. And my brothers, we're all celebrating. My brother's smoking a cigar, and we're not really being necessarily quiet at this point. Yeah. And all of a sudden, my brother just goes, "Deer, deer, deer," like that. And my brother hands Jackson, my son, the firearm, and then Jack goes down on his knee and just puts the crosshairs on him. And I could tell this deer was moving. He wasn't going to stop, so I gave him the old, meh, and he stopped, and he looked right at us, and boom, Jackson dropped him at probably, 250 plus.
Wow.
And it was just such a great afternoon.
Wow.
I mean, my brother and I, collectively, we said that's probably one of the best hunting memories of our whole life. So
Yeah.
and just to see our kids have success like that, and just the camaraderie, and it's nothing better than that.
And you said this was his first buck, is that right?
That was Jackson's first buck.
Yeah.
That was his fourth deer.
Okay.
But that was his first buck, so pretty exciting.
That kind of sounds like my way I got started. It was a small buck like that. That was my first one. But
Really?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's fun. It doesn't matter how big they are. It's exciting, and the adrenaline's still pumping. Like we were talking before the show, it doesn't matter what walks in the woods. Sometimes you start shaking and get excited.
Oh yeah, a squirrel, whatever. And I'm gonna. He doesn't know this, but for Christmas, I don't know if he'll see this, but for Christmas, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna take that over to Alex at Wilson Taxidermy and get him a euro made of it.
Oh, neat.
I think that'll be a nice commemorative.
Oh, yeah.
Thing to do. So classic day, just awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's great. That's great. And to double up like that's fun too. Yeah.
yeah, no, I thought we were done after the doe, and it just worked out. And we were just talking before the show how kids have such a great trigger pull. They're so smooth and easy, and I get way too emotions mess me up every time. I'll pull a shot or I'll hit myself in the head with a scope or something. But they have something about it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because they haven't been doing it as long, and they don't know as much. They don't have enough enough knowledge to sort of ruin them, if you know what I mean. So it's but they got such a nice smooth trigger pull. It's awesome.
I think I saw a lot of kids having success. I saw a lot of pictures coming across social media and stuff. So it's great to see our young folks out there having a good time.
Oh, another thing that was awesome, which Jack knows this stuff, but Nolan didn't. We got to sort of show them, okay, well, here's what we're going to do now. And we pulled up the app, and we showed them how to check the deer in, and Nolan's was different than Jack's because we had to specify that it was a male, and each side had this many points, and I think they got a kick out of watching how that goes down.
That's awesome.
And the whole tag before you drag thing. So
And that
reminder.
doesn't happen all that often, that the parent teaches the kid about a certain app on the phone.
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of turned around in a good way.
Right. Yep.
Well,
This
I
is
like
true.
that segue. Thanks for advertising the app.
Yeah,
On the
really.
Go
That's
app.
perfect.
In the App Store, or whether you're Google Play or Apple. Go get the app. It's easy to check your deer in. It is tagged before you drag with that, or and turkeys the same way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make sure you check your animals in, and that's cool. Good
Yeah.
segue. Thank you
Yeah.
for throwing that in there.
The biologists really appreciate it too, and they get all that data, and they just salivate, and they sit
Yeah.
down at the end of the season and see where all these deer were taken, where they came from, and
that's so
they work
cool.
up all kinds of information from that, and then make recommendations for bag limits and that kind of thing from that.
Awesome. Yeah, and we appreciate them a lot too.
Exactly.
Definitely. Oh, hey, while we're on the subject of the website or the app or something like that, we got some new hats that we're advertising today. I forgot to mention it at the start of the show.
I'm
but
liking Brian's there.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
he got there? What's he sporting?
I guess you'd call that an orange accented, winter style cap with brown and camo. So
Love it.
It's pretty cool. Shop.gooutdoorstennessee.com to find them, and they're all $20. Most of them are all $20 for the hats, and it's a lot of cool.
A good
stuff.
variety. There's something for everybody, really,
Yeah.
in the way of a hat style. They-
Awesome.
Even go with the reptile type camo that you're wearing there. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
It
cool
is.
design.
It is.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So don't forget to check that out. And while you're there, you can buy a license at gooutdoorstennessee.com. So that's where you get that. And
Perfect.
anyway, so that's the commercial break. So now back to the show. Brian, we've been working together on an outdoor community that you kind of got started, or you started actually, a while back, and we've kind of revamped it and worked through it and tried to make it better for the hunter and angler out there to learn from each other. And
Yeah.
tell us about that that site, Tennessee Outdoor Community, tnoutdoorcommunity.com. Tell them about that and how that got started and how folks can join in the conversation on that.
Yeah, well, I just kind of thought one day, I thought, man, wouldn't it be great just to have I was just trying to think, and I was praying for a way to just have something of my own that I could, stick a stake in and say, hey, this is my thing, and I started it, and I wanted it to be, an advocator for Tennessee outdoors, and it just kind of came to me one day, and I went, I'm going to start this, and I don't know what it's going to be, what it's going to turn into, but I just wanted to start somewhere and just put the foot forward. And tnoutdoorcommunity.com is just merely what it sounds like. It's a community where hunters can get together, talk, share stories, share pictures, share knowledge. Take somebody hunting, take somebody that's never been before. It's also a forum where it's connected with you guys. They can go on there. There's all kinds of things that they can learn through the website that connects them to you guys. And I just love it because it I'm hoping that it'll be a place where even when people come in from out of state, it will maybe become a thing that where people go, oh, well, you need to go to this site and you can find out, where you need to go, whether it's a public land or this guy will take you hunting or whatever,
Right.
And so it's just an advocacy website for the outdoors in Tennessee. We've got so much to be thankful for here. And like Johnny Allred always says, we don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're so blessed. We've got such a bounty of wildlife, and the regulations are so awesome. Hunters are very prideful about having what we have here. So
well, and previous show we mentioned 1.6. I'm make sure I get this right. I may be off of you. 1.6 million acres of managed property that we manage across the state. So. There's plenty of property out there for folks to go and recreate on, and whether it's hunting, fishing, wildlife watching, whatever.
One thing that people, why do y'all think that so many new hunters are intimidated about going to hunt public land?
I think the unknown, not knowing what to expect or where to go or how to go about it. I think that's probably.
And I think in the back of their minds too, a lot of them think, okay, it's public land. It's bound to be just covered up with hunters. It's going to be so busy. I just don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But that's totally not.
It's not.
the case.
I've been several times, and I just love it. I have seen hunters, but it's not like you're like brushing shoulders with people or anything. But I think it's just, you're right, just the unknown of, which is, again, back to just mentorship. We need to continue to keep pushing that, because it's important to have somebody that's, has that knowledge and can sort of usher you into that experience, And
I think fighting that unknown aspect too, our GIS folks are doing a really great job of shining a light on a lot of these wildlife management areas now, and particularly with video and pictures, and giving you a lot better idea of what you're getting into, when you go to a certain WMA.
Yeah, definitely. tnwildlife.org, click where to hunt. We've got all our WMAs listed out there, and they've each got a page with information and imagery and videos sometimes, and the maps are there. So, it's links to the regs. It's all right there, and trying to make it as easy for folks to find it and know, hey, this is a great place to go. Pull up, find your place to park off the road, and just adventure in,
Yeah.
Always check your regs, though. Make sure you're following protocols there. But
For sure. And the 94, be sure and get
Type
that.
94, got to have that WMA permit.
Do they allow you to, this is a stupid question, but I don't know. Do they allow you to put tree stands up on public land?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can leave it there?
Well, I think that's frowned upon in some cases, but you can pack it in and climb up
climber.
that. Climb it in that one.
Yeah.
And sometimes quota hunts are different. If you've got the quota permit, you're there for the weekend. That's a different story sometimes. But
Okay. Interesting.
And putting us on the spot there, you always check your wildlife, check with your wildlife officer, check your guide. Read up on the regs. But It's different.
I'm always texting Don, like I'll text him something that I don't know the answer to. You know, I'm sorry for all the.
Oh,
I
no
hope I'm not
problem.
bothering you.
No problem.
I just know you guys know way more than I do. So if I'm ever if something's ever in question that I don't know anything about, I'll either blow up Johnny or Don or Jason. So
That's good.
And that's all right. We're happy to help. But yeah, so go check out the Tennessee Outdoor Community, tnoutdoorcommunity.com, and social media. What's the handles on social media?
You just put me on the
maybe
spot.
just search it.
The Instagram is TNCom is what it is on Instagram.
Okay.
And then so there's and then there's the Facebook page, which is just Tennessee Outdoor Community on Facebook.
Okay.
And there's also a private group within that Facebook group. It's almost close to 1,000 people now.
All right.
And it's more of an intimate conversation, which is really fun because I love when I'm going out in the morning and I'm seeing the private group, just people just kind of talking about the morning and what county are you guys in. That's fun to me. I really get a kick out of that. So
yeah, that's great, and that's a good place to share photos and things, and that could lead to the forum too, to the website, to where you even get more in depth and more conversations can happen. And yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, hey, we're going to run out of time. Let's keep moving.
Man, it goes fast.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to this season? What you got on the books? You going on any more big deer hunts or anything like that?
I'm always going on something, man. I'm like all these other artists that we were talking about. I think they're like me, but like when your tour schedule sort of gets mapped out for the fall and winter, you're trying to be strategic. You're like, okay, I can put something together here. I could stay 2 extra days after the show here, and it's so fun doing. That's the most fun part of the year to me. So I get to hunt in Illinois coming up. I've got a benefit that I'm doing with my friend Wade Hayes, and I get to hunt on. I have some dear friends there, and dear friends. There's a song. We need to write that one in Brighton, Illinois, which is right outside of Alton, really close to St. Louis. And so I'll hunt a couple of days there, which is exciting to hunt in Illinois. I mean, there's big deer there. And then I get to hunt in Wisconsin this year, which I've never done. Have some deer friends up there in near Arcadia. So it's probably going to be blistering cold. That's because it's going to be like December 13th.
Oh, man.
So Wisconsin is going to be pretty brutal, and I'll just barely miss rifle. So they'll be back to archery there. So, and I just got the thank you to Matthews, by the way, the great folks at Matthews. I just got the V3, the new V3. So I've hunted with it quite a bit this year, but hopefully I'll have some success with that. So I'll be sporting my V3 in Wisconsin and Illinois.
Cool.
So, yep.
Well, and you mentioned you were on the hunt for a 270 too, right?
I am. If anybody feels gracious enough to just donate to the White family. No, I'm not one of these guys that tries to, puff up when I'm in a conversation with people and act like I know certain things. Because I'd rather be in a poise to learn than be, try to be,
sure,
a guy that is acting like he knows something he doesn't.
Blowing smoke.
Yeah. So I've been a hunter for more than a decade, but I was late to the game, and so I've always hunted with a 30-30 during rifle. And it's a great gun. I love it. It's a great brush gun, but I just feel like I'm feeling a higher calling. So I'm finally at that place in my life. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to reach out and touch someone, And I've always borrowed it. Like if I had a hunt that I felt like I was going to need a lot of distance, I'll just borrow a 270 from a friend of mine, and it just it's just hit me in the last couple weeks. I'm doing it. I just bought me a brand new Leupold scope that showed up last night, and I was just like, and so I'm like, now I just need a gun.
Yeah.
And I'm on the 270 hunt. I love Brownings. I love Winchester. A big fan of Winchester, and love Remingtons too. So I'm just kind of putting feelers out there. I used or brand new, I don't care what. I think I'm just going to know when it's the right one.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll know it when you see it. Yeah, so, that's what I've always hunted with, Remington 700 model 270.
Yep.
It's been a good gun.
There's a lady in Tullahoma right now that has one. And because she hit me up on Facebook. I'm like, so I kind of know where all of them are, so I'm kind of weighing it out, just like a chess game, you know. So, but yeah, that's a good gun too. So,
Hey, if
and
you go pick it up, you could always drop by Whiskey Country 95.
There you go.
I could do that. Why don't we put a plan together?
Yeah, really.
That would be a neat story.
I like how Brian plans his tour schedule around hunting. Yeah, that's perfect.
But to answer your question full circle, Jason, I mean, what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to rifle season. I love it. It's just the most exciting time of year for me. I love taking my kids. I love hunting with people, and the weather, just being cold, and and then seeing bucks chasing does. It's just there's nothing better. So
definitely. Well, we need to maybe we can hook up and go together, and we'll get something on camera. It'd be fun.
Yeah,
man, let's do it.
Capture a hunt, and share it with everybody.
Let's
It'd be
do
fun.
it anytime.
Well, what else is going on? We're going to run out of time here in a few minutes, but Don,
Hey, let's circle back to the early days of music and how you got to Nashville, Brian.
Yeah.
Just for fun. That's
Yeah.
the 2-minute version.
Yeah,
right.
I'll make it quick. Well, the Reader's Digest version. I moved here in '92, and I came from a long line of cotton farmers and cattle folks and auctioneers, but my mom and dad were kind of the black sheep of the family. They got bit by the music bug, and so that's sort of where I got that from. I got it honest. And then long story short, I get in my late teens and I start realizing what I want to do. And because of my dad, I had a lot of connections to Nashville. And I met a producer named Billy Joe Walker Jr., sent him a couple of demos I had done in Oklahoma City. And, that was kind of my connecting point for Nashville.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. When I came here and moved here, Billy was kind of my springboard into the industry. He got me my first deal and produced my first 3 records along with Kyle Lenning. And so that's kind of how I got connected to Nashville. And
That's neat.
it's been a blessing so far. So
Oklahoma, the hot spot of country music artists. I mean,
Yeah.
think of all the folks that have come from Oklahoma.
it's
that have
insane. I
done
know.
well in music.
I know. Now it's Georgia.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like Georgia
yeah.
owns
yeah.
it now.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, there's some great artists. Correct me if I'm wrong. Carrie Underwood, she from Oklahoma.
she's from Chakotah, Oklahoma.
and
Yeah.
is Reba,
Reba,
Yeah.
Garth, Vince,
Blake.
Blake,
It's amazing.
Mickey Mantle, who doesn't sing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Joe Diffie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those were the good years. I like that era.
those were the good years.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna go write that too. Give me some good ideas
Hey,
today.
can I get my name at the bottom?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. As long as you throw a
Inspired
"the" or
by
an
it.
"and" in there,
Okay.
it'll work.
Awesome. All right, songwriter today. Put that on my resume. Well, Brian, it's been fun. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, like we said, let's get out and do some hunting this year.
I'm down.
I got a
Anytime.
camera. I'll come along.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the woods next time. And this is Tennessee WildCast.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.